Okay, Fatima, let's just see what you have here. Turn on my editing here. Okay, so we started off with, title. There's a little bit of a grammar mistake in the title, okay, because you should say rash as a differential diagnosis, and you should also mention the diseases, chickenpox, scarlet fever, so that the people that are reading it know. Remember, your task was to write to the nurses that are visiting, so you might want to mention that in the first paragraph here. You do mention something about them knowing and that they would be traveling around, but there's nothing wrong with explicitly saying who you're writing to. Anyways, as you probably know, chickenpox, measles, and scarlet fever are too similar. Okay, this is a common mistake here. It's not too similar to each other. It's very similar to each other. However, you may notice that the rash of each disease is different. Okay, good. First, you should ask the child if he or she feels itchy. Okay, this has actually... So you said you're going to talk about the rashes, but now you're talking about how itchy it is. So, yes, it was part of your notes, but that would be a different paragraph maybe at the end, or, you wouldn't introduce the rashes as a way to differential diagnose without, talking about the rashes first. Okay, the rash of chickenpox is just as itchy as a rash of scarlet fever. Okay, that, I'm afraid, is incorrect. You would lose a mark for this because it doesn't say that. It says that the rash of scarlet fever is sometimes itchy. Okay, that's different as just as itchy. Okay, in contrast, a rash of measles is not. Okay, so now you really should be starting with a new paragraph. And by the way, why did you type it and then send me a picture of it? You should have just sent me the Word file. But anyways, okay. In contrast, a rash of measles is not. Other important point is the location of rash. Okay, so this is definitely a new paragraph. Both the rash of measles and scarlet fever appear on the neck, arms, legs, and trunk. Furthermore, scarlet fever rash may appear on the armpits and elbow folds, while measles rash appears behind, okay, not in behind the ears and forehead. Okay, behind the forehead? Because that's a little strange, okay? The way that you have that phrased. Chickenpox may affect the trunk or scalp. Okay, so I'm a little confused here because you already said both these rashes affect the legs and trunk, and now you're saying trunk and scalp. Okay, so you need to tell us what the difference is here. It sounds like they're all the same. While you are examining the rash, you may observe, not will observe, okay, because it's not 100%, observe the differences on the appearance of the rash, whereas measles rash is tiny white spots known as Kepleck spots, good. Chickenpox rash begins with flat pink to red small spots, which develop into bumpy, and then blister, then develop into bumps, not bumpy. Bumpy, remember why do we have an I here? Y here? That means what? Adjective. And then blister with surrounding halo of redness and scarlet fever. Okay, so you don't want to say and scarlet fever here because you're talking about chickenpox. So you might say whereas scarlet fever is looks like red bumps, okay, which merge together. Okay, measles rash usually takes 3 to 4 days to appear after infection. Other important point you should care about, not that you should care about, that you should observe, that you should see, that you should, look at. The rash of chickenpox changes to blisters, and then lesions develop on the mucous membrane, particularly in the lining of the body cavities. On the other hand, scarlet fever rash develop in body creases and mainly in the elbow folds, armpits. Okay. The duration of... Okay. So, I have a little bit of a problem here, because, see, you're talking about duration here. Oh no, this is the rate of infection. Okay, never mind. Okay, so I think we need to work on your organization a little bit, Fatima. Yeah, you're all over the place. You're talking about, you know, the signs of the rash, and then you're talking about how itchy it is, and then you're talking about the location. You should be breaking this up into paragraphs and talking about each individual idea separately. Okay, so we have some work to do with that. The task, you did say you referred to them in the first person. That's great. But you'd never mentioned that there were nurses going around and looking at children, yeah? That was part of your task, so we need to work on that. But don't worry, everybody seems to be having that problem. Not bad, much better than the first one. Excellent.